What if I told you the last time humans set foot on the moon was over 50 years ago? Why did we abandon the one place outside Earth that we've actually reached? The answer is more surprising than you think, and by the end of this video, you'll understand the complex mix of politics, money, and shifting priorities that made humanity turn its back on the moon. The Apollo program was one of the most ambitious and awe-inspiring achievements in human history. Between 1969 and 1972, NASA sent 12 astronauts to the lunar surface, capturing the imagination of billions worldwide. But after Apollo 17, the final mission, NASA never returned. So, what happened? Why did we stop exploring our nearest celestial neighbor? To uncover the truth, we need to examine the driving forces behind the Apollo program, the reasons for its cancellation, and the lessons it teaches. First, let's talk about why we went to the moon in the first place. The Apollo program wasn't just about science or exploration. It was fueled by the Cold War rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union. When the USSR launched Sputnik in 1957, it triggered a space race that became a symbol of technological and ideological superiority. President John F. Kennedy's famous 1961 speech to Congress set the stage: "We choose to go to the moon."
Space is open to us now, and our eagerness to share its meaning is not governed by the efforts of others. We go into space.
The Apollo program's primary goal was to beat the Soviets. The scientific discoveries and technological advancements were secondary to proving America's dominance. When Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin landed on the moon in 1969, the mission was accomplished. The US had won the space race. But achieving this monumental feat came at a price. The Apollo program cost the US government approximately $25 billion at the time, equivalent to over $150 billion today. While the program had widespread public support during its peak, public enthusiasm waned after the initial moon landing. People began to question why so much money was being spent on space exploration when pressing issues like poverty, civil rights, and the Vietnam War were dominating the headlines. By the time Apollo 17 launched in 1972, funding for NASA had already been significantly reduced. The planned Apollo 18, 19, and 20 missions were cancelled due to budget cuts, leaving 3 unused Saturn V rockets sitting in storage. Another major reason for abandoning the moon was a shift in political and scientific priorities. By the 1970s, the Cold War focus had shifted from space exploration to other areas, such as defense and diplomacy. Domestically, the US government faced mounting pressure to address social issues and economic challenges. NASA's focus also shifted toward building the Space Shuttle program, which promised reusable spacecraft that could make space travel more affordable and routine. This shift in strategy aimed to establish a long-term presence in low Earth orbit rather than returning to the moon. While Apollo provided groundbreaking scientific discoveries, from moon rocks to insights about the solar system's history, many scientists argued that robotic missions could achieve similar results at a fraction of the cost. This led to an increase in funding for robotic missions like the Mars rovers and deep space probes, which offered incredible scientific value without risking human lives. So, why haven't we gone back in the decade since? The truth is, returning to the moon is still expensive, challenging, and politically complex. Modern space agencies, including NASA, have faced fluctuating budgets and shifting political support. For decades, there was no clear long-term vision for lunar exploration. However, interest in the moon has recently been rekindled. Programs like NASA's Artemis mission and China's lunar exploration initiatives aim to establish a sustainable presence on the moon. This time, the goal isn't just about flags and footprints, it's about building the infrastructure for humanity's future in space. So, why did we stop going to the moon? It wasn't just one reason, it was a perfect storm of politics, economics, and shifting priorities. The Apollo program achieved its goal of winning the space race, but the immense cost, changing public opinion, and evolving scientific strategies made returning to the moon less urgent. But the story isn't over. Humanity's dream of exploring the moon is alive again, and this time, the possibilities are even greater. As we look to the future, one thing is clear: the moon remains a stepping stone to the stars. What do you think? Should humanity focus on returning to the moon, or set its sights on more distant frontiers? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating space content.